Okay, yesterday we started the dinim of Rosh Hashanah. So we learned about, Erev Rosh Hashanah, what you need to do at Tarsin Darim, no Tachnun. Okay, anyway, this year, because Rosh Hashanah is Thursday, Friday, and Shabbos, and Sukkot is Thursday, Friday, and Shabbos, and Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah is Thursday, Friday, and Shabbos. So in Erev Yom Tiv, both Erev Rosh Hashanah, Erev Sukkot, and Erev the last days of Sukkot, you need to make what's called Erev Tavshilin. Erev Tavshilin literally means a mixture of food. Now, the din is as follows. Yom Tiv, you're allowed to cook on Yom Tiv for that day of Yom Tiv. You're not allowed to cook on Yom Tiv for another day of Yom Tiv. You're definitely not allowed to cook from Yom Tiv for a weekday. Because the Torah allows cooking on Yom Tiv for that day itself. So now the problem is like this. You have a Yom Tiv Thursday, Friday, and Shabbos, or even Friday and Shabbos for that matter. Now how are you going to cook for Shabbos? Because you can't cook Friday for Shabbos. Or because you're not allowed to cook from Yom Tiv even for Shabbos. You can only cook on Yom Tiv for that day itself. So the Chum came up with a halachic concept. It's called Erev Tavshilin, which means you take food, challah and a piece of fish, meat, eggs, whatever it is, prominent food, and we'll learn the sizes and challah, and you designated it already. It should be a cooked food, and you designated it already on Erev Yom Tiv. So Yom Tiv is Thursday, so Wednesday, you take, it doesn't matter any time on Wednesday, you take the challah with the piece of fish, let's say, and with this, it's like you started cooking for Shabbos already on Wednesday. So what do you gain by that? The min HaTorah, biblically, if you cook in the morning on one day of Yom Tiv, let's say Yom Tiv is Tuesday. Okay, I cook Tuesday morning. Biblically, I'm allowed to do it. Why? Because guests might come that day. And if guests come that day, I'll be able to give them food. Or if I decide to eat food later that day. So min HaTorah, you can cook for one day of Yom Tiv for itself, but you can cook extra because later on in the day you might have company coming. You can't cook with the intention for the next day, but you can cook biblically. Min HaTorah, you can cook in the morning for that day, for that particular day. So therefore the Chum said like this. Because min HaTorah, you're allowed to cook Yom Tiv extra because maybe guests will come that day. Mid Rabbanon, you're not allowed to. Rabbinically, you're not allowed to. Chum said if you started cooking and preparing before Yom Tiv, so then we'll allow you to continue cooking on Friday for Shabbos, providing, and a lot of people are unaware of this din, the Erev Tavshilin is only good if the food is edible to be eaten on Friday. That means, in very simple practical language, you can't put up a cholent late Friday afternoon, even with an Erev Tavshilin, that won't be edible until the next morning. Because Erev Tavshilin only helps to keep back the biblical law that you can cook on Yom Tiv, providing the food will be ready, that if guests come later on in the day, you'll be able to give it to them. So you could put up a cholent in the morning. It might not be cholent, but if it's cooking 8 hours, it's still edible. I mean, the meat is edible, the potatoes, everything's edible. So again, Erev Tavshilin is good if you make it before Yom Tiv, the egg and the challah or matzah, whatever it is, and then you have the Erev Tavshilin. So that allows you to cook on Friday for Shabbos, but it only allows you to do things that you couldn't do on Shabbos. I'll give you an example that the Alter Rebbe says. In the Erev Tavshilin, we say, Bais with this, will be allowed to cook and bake and light candles and do everything from Friday to Shabbos. But what happens, I'll give you a simple example, which could be practical. Friday afternoon, you want to roll a Sefer Torah for the Kri on Shabbos. Okay, you want to roll Friday afternoon, you want to roll Sefer Torah. Now, you can't prepare on Friday for Shabbos because it's Yom Tov. You can't prepare one day Yom Tov to the next. Just like you can't roll on the first day Yom Tov, you can't roll a Sefer Torah for the second day of Yom Tov because you're preparing from one day for the next. So that you would, Alter Rebbe says clearly, you wouldn't be able to roll a Sefer Torah on Friday for Shabbos because you're rolling a Sefer Torah. You could do it on Shabbos. Just do it on Shabbos. What are you doing on Friday? But cooking and lighting candles and things like that you couldn't do on Shabbos, then if you make an Eruv Tavshilin, you can cook on Friday for Shabbos, providing the food will be edible on Friday. Even late in the afternoon, but it has to be ready on Friday to be eaten. Now, one second. So now what do you do with the Eruv Tavshilin? As long as the food is existing, you could do all your cooking on Friday that you need for Shabbos. If somebody ate up the food,
A little mouse.
a two-legged mouse ate up the food, so then you wouldn't be able to cook anymore. The Eruv Tavshilin to allow you to cook is only as long as the food, especially not the challah, the food especially, is still existing as long as you finish all the preparations. So then the custom is that Friday night, you use the challah as a second challah. The fish, let's say using challah and fish. So the fish you can eat Friday night. It's no problem. You can't eat it before, because then you can't do any more cooking. So the Friday night, you use the challah as the second challah. Why? Because you want to keep doing more mitzvahs with it. And then Shabbos day, you eat it by the meal, you eat that challah. Because then you want to just keep doing more mitzvahs with that one challah that you use for Eruv Tavshilin and Friday night as the second one, and so on. So that's in a nutshell the din of Eruv Tavshilin. So it has to be done this before Rosh Hashanah this year. Either Yom Tov is Thursday and Friday, Friday or Shabbos, or Thursday, Friday, and Shabbos, because it's going Friday into Shabbos. You need to make an Eruv Tavshilin to allow somebody to cook. What happens if somebody forgot to make an Eruv Tavshilin? So the din is, when the rabbi makes it, he does it in a way that it's good for the whole city.
Only one time.
Yeah, it's only good the one time. The Gemara tells a story that when a person came to an Amir of the Gemara, he said, I forgot to make an Eruv Tavshilin. So he said, okay, you can rely on mine. The next Yom Tov came, the same guy came again to the Rav, he said, I forgot to make an Eruv Tavshilin. He said, no, that's no good anymore. Once is an accident. What do you say? Once is, twice is, what's the expression? No. Anyway, whatever the expression is in English. It's a one-time deal, you can rely on the Rav. Afterwards, you got a problem.
So what are you going to do with that food that you put on the side?
What, the Eruv Tavshilin food? You eat it on Shabbos.
What if you forget?
Nothing. So you eat it Sunday.
So there is not a must that you have to.
You don't have to eat that food, no. I mean, it's customary to eat it because that's what you did with it.
Forget, you're okay.
If you forgot to eat it, it's okay.
Did you forget on purpose or did you forget?
Most people, by definition, don't forget on purpose.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay, so that's as far as Erev Yom Tov. Now, Erev Yom Tov, it's a mitzvah. The Torah says, because a Jew is certain that Hashem is going to bless us with a good year. So Erev Yom Tov, we get dressed up. You're supposed to go shower and go to the mikveh, it says in halacha, and get ready for Yom Tov. You know, put on nice clothing for Yom Tov, even though we're being judged. But a person is certain, the Torah said that Hashem is blessing us all with a good year. Okay. What?
If the food is in the can, can you eat it on Shabbat?
Well, you have to open the can before Shabbat. Before Shabbat, should be open. Yeah, but it has to be a cooked food. You can't take a raw egg or raw fish. It has to be edible. Yeah. There are ways of opening the can on Shabbos. Yeah, but that's not for now. Okay, next. Huh? Sushi. Yeah. You need 2 ounces of challah, by the way, and 1 ounce of food. So, you know, it has to... Okay, then, when you come the night of Rosh Hashanah, so you have candle lighting. Candle lighting, Chabad is a very interesting custom, which is different than, I think, everybody else. Most people, when they light candles on Yom Tov, say, Lahadik Ner Shel Yom Tov. Okay? Chabad also says Ladik Ner Yom Tov and Yom Tovim, but not Rosh Hashanah, not Yom Kippur. We say Rosh Hashanah, we say Lahadik Ner Shel Yom HaZikaron, okay? And Yom Kippur, we say Lahadik Ner Shel Yom HaKippurim. That's a unique Chabad thing, I think. I don't think anybody else does it. Most people say Lahadik Ner Shel Yom Tov. Now, halacha, so basically you're lighting candles like you do every Friday night. The difference is, now normally after Shkia, after sundown, you can't light Shabbos candles because you can't strike a match, you can't extend a fire either. Yom Tov, technically you could light Shabbos Yom Tov candles on Yom Tov from a pre-existing flame. So many people have a custom that on Yom Tov they don't light early. They light many people have such a custom. When the husband comes home, then the wife lights from a pre-existing flame, obviously. She lights the Yom Tov candles. And also because we learned when Hilchos Shabbos, the why do you cover your eyes? Because, you can't light them, the whole thing that we just learned. But Yom Tov, your